This energy is just wow. I've been sitting with this energy for a minute now. And I have to say, I didn't see this one coming from you. These two, what I thought were separate readings, are actually intertwined together, almost like they're overlaid. And I'm hearing it's the way in which you're overlaid in the construct. And particularly around the energetic signature of your lineage and you as a soul that was called forth by this lineage. And it's interesting because it's not that you were beckoned to come and safely learn more when it comes to what life on earth could be, but it's that you're actually beckoning your entire lineage to experience life and liberation within the human experience while inside of the body. Okay, it's like you're not leaving the world, but instead you're seeing through it. It's super interesting, and you're realizing that you're not the mind, you're not the thoughts, you're not the identity or the roles that you've played throughout many lifetimes. You're tuning into your infinite nature, the one that is unchanging and watching it all unfold. So I'm going to share with you the cards and the energy that came through, and then I'm very actually curious to see what does come out in the tarot for the energetic signature. But it's like you're living, you're moving, you're engaging with life in a more grounded way where nothing owns you anymore or your full expression. There is no attachment, there is no fear, no illusion of separation that you're experiencing while moving through this construct. You're very aware of your interconnectedness to all things. And from that place, your actions that are arising are not from conditioning, but just pure awareness for how you're co-creating your experience with the material plane. So there is peace that you've cultivated within yourself, thus your entire one body of consciousness, your ancestral lineage. And that doesn't depend on anything outside of you. There's a different kind of relationship that you've cultivated with yourself. There's a different kind of relationship in which you've actually cultivated with the material plane. And it's interesting because the word that's coming up is companion. It's as if the earth and the material physical plane is becoming your companion. It's becoming your support system, and you're beginning to see that it's becoming the one that honors the journey of the choices in which you get to experience the unfoldment of here that is unlike anywhere else that you also simultaneously exist. So let me go ahead and share it with you, this energy, right? The first card that came out was Inner Earth, and this talks about the base chakra. So the base chakra is essentially what stores the information and memory of yourself throughout lifetimes, as well as your entire lineage. So this is the largest center of primordial life force. It's connected deeply into the memory of the earth. So this is every extension, every expression of the earth that's walked upon this planet, and that exists within your DNA, that exists within you. You hold the memory of the past, present, and future existing simultaneously. Now, this also talks about strength and security and laying foundations. So there is a strong root that you are. I'm seeing it as an anchor for your lineage. Now, this is what's got me really having to sit here and dissect it, right? So this part, Pluto. Pluto came through with 528 hertz, which is a love frequency. So you were the first one that's bringing unconditional acceptance to yourself at every stage of your evolution. You've been able to bring peace into your current circumstance and not have to wait for anything outside of you in order to be able to anchor peace into the body. And that hasn't been done before, and that's being experienced through you. You know how they say the eyes are a window of the soul, right? Your eyes are the window for your ancestors to see life on earth through you. Now, Pluto talks about a transformation, all right? It talks about a death and rebirth. And then 528 hertz is you, I'm kind of seeing it as injecting or integrating, maybe even, I'm just seeing weave love into the DNA, okay? Into the expression, into your multidimensional expression. So let me read this, right? It says, this card transports us to the energetic gateway that connects us to this planet and everything that we've learned during our many lifetimes here. We're being given an opportunity to root down and claim our right to be on the planet. So this is connected to the physical plane and all of its lessons. And you're experiencing those lessons, but through the lens of oneness instead of separation. You're very aware that the universe is one single being. These are all expressions of source that we are moving through and interacting with. So you're no longer just merely interacting with the matrix, but you're seeing through the lens of separation clearly, because that is a true illusion. It's that you are separate from anything outside of yourself. So this is the spiritual realm that's visited by shamans, which is about journeying into energies, meeting guardians, and reclaiming parts of your power or the power of others that have been left behind. Know that if you've been searching for parts of yourself, you have the opportunity to find them and build stable foundations. So I'm seeing this as you picking up also gifts from the lineage as you heal the belief systems that have contracted the soul's full expression in this material plane. And as that begins to expand, I'm seeing you kind of pick up hidden gems. That's what it feels like. It's like you're picking up to feel grounded and secure. You're picking up the parts that they/you felt too ashamed to express. You're becoming fully aware of what you need in order to feel safe and fulfilled on planet Earth. Know that it is part of the divine plan for you to be incarnated into this planet now. And although at times you may have felt unstable or that you've lost your way, you've been building up momentum to be where it is that you are today. You have the space to build powerful foundations, a space where you can lay out exactly what you need and who you need to be in order to flourish and grow. You have the opportunity to reclaim parts of yourself that you've buried deep within and reclaim the gifts that you've abandoned. Okay, these are gifts that your entire lineage has felt too unsafe to express. And instead of checking out of this experience, it's a time to really check in with yourself deeper now than ever before, because as you cultivate a deeper connection to yourself, you will also see that translate into your intention grounding you now more than ever within this incarnation. You're showing up for yourself in a way that you never got to. So Pluto is about a transformation that's occurring. And it's interesting because Pluto in this deck talks about the outcast. So this tells me that you may feel like the black sheep in your family. You may feel like the one that is the odd one out, and you do stand out, and that is for a reason, because when you take so many fractals of awareness and then one incarnates into the bloodline and is now conscious awareness, right? That fractal of awareness becomes conscious of itself. It begins to, I'm hearing, behave very differently, but I'm hearing it begins to interrupt these patterns. So you're actually creating a new algorithm within your entire lineage, and that's shaking things up, right? Pluto energy is here to excavate things. I'm hearing it's here to excavate the hidden magical being that you are. It's here to excavate anything that has been buried, suppressed, repressed within the psyche, which is the interface of where soul meets matter, right? Where ether meets matter. And any kind of expression that's been constricted, has been, I almost want to say, restricted or suppressed, and I'm hearing oppressed as well, which is super interesting. So let's go ahead and look at that keyword before we read geocentric model. So oppressed means being treated unfairly, controlled, or kept down by someone in power. It usually refers to people who are denied freedom or rights, treated harshly, or unable to express themselves or improve their situation. Also, that's believed. Being oppressed means treated badly or not allowed to live freely or fairly. So this is where you've been oppressed when it comes to your true nature, when it comes to I'm seeing the Sun card, which is the core essence of your soul's being, your awareness that has felt restricted, dimmed, or weighed down, but not by external force alone, by your own internalized patterns, right? By your lineage's conditioning or unresolved energy. So the further down that we weave through these societal constructs, the further we see that a lot of this is social engineering that is actually part of the initial soul contracts that Gaia has accepted, and thus that being woven into every other being or extension of herself that is experiencing themselves through the material physical plane, right? That is the celestial lessons that you're able to actually partake in on this terrestrial plane. So yeah, it's less about someone controlling you, and it's more about your consciousness that has been compressed into a limited version of self, where maybe we've been restricted 𝓤𝓮 our full multidimensional, I'm hearing, capacities. So maybe this is where your whole lineage has felt completely disconnected to their true self, or they've been living in fear or doubt. And you're bringing awareness to where that fear and doubt still, I'm hearing, is unresolved within your field. There could have been a sense that your light or expression has been blocked in some way by these belief systems, and believing that you're less powerful than you are. You know, that's also going to be a huge one there, because there is no external force that's doing that to you. Instead, oppression can arise from conditioning, when we talk about the family past experiences, or just any kind of unprocessed emotions that you could still see your body expressing or trying to communicate to you. And this is geocentric model. So, right, this is the energy at the base. This is all of it. Geocentric model talks about the wounded ego. Does everything rotate around the earth? This theory stated that we are the center of the universe. The universe is immense and we are definitely not its center. This card is related with ego, insecurities, and projection onto others. When we take something personally, it does not say anything about the other person, but it does about ourselves. Does it hurt? It should not. Recognizing that for some reason our ego is damaged by the point topic is a powerful virtue. Nobody does anything to you personally. Everyone is immersed in a battle within their own demons. Taking something personally is effectively accepting some fear or insecurity that prevents an open wound being seen clearly or with a broad mind. The message is to let your guard down. It calls for a change in perspective, explore your inner self. So this is what you've been doing, right? You've entered into the bloodline. You've let your guard down enough not to defend those belief systems that are not going to be super conducive or supportive for your soul's highest expression. So that could be even where you've brought awareness to where you've been making yourself smaller in some way, or dimming your own light, anything that's been kind of narrowing your perception into this myopic lens, and you're understanding those belief systems are not actually part of your true self, right? That is the bridge between your trauma and your true self. Instead, you're tuning into the part of you that is untouched by time, has been unaffected by the events that have occurred throughout your space-time travels. So this talks about working on fears with self-love. And the paradox is you must fully accept where you are first in order to begin to change that. So this is something that you're doing. Investigate the fear or pain lying deep within. If it shows itself, it's because there's more hiding behind it, right? So this is exactly what it is that you've been able to, I'm seeing, investigate within the bloodline, which is super beautiful. So the spiritual oppression is not your true nature. Instead, it's a temporary distortion of your own perception. And there is this awareness behind it where your attention has become entangled within these smaller loops of the ego, right? When we talk about geocentric model being the wounded ego, and you're kind of coming into the bloodline, and anything that said, okay, something outside of me is suppressing me, you're changing it to, right, there's actually part of me that has forgotten its full nature, and you're just coming back into that remembrance. So you're restoring the remembrance, you're restoring what it is that you've always been, which is a highly abundant being, and not through force or rejection, but instead full acceptance, which is an integration and healing that's taking place in order for you to move through this construct with that sense of wholeness, with that sense of awareness where you can see a pattern clearly and also see when it doesn't serve you. And you're doing that with neutrality, right? Neutrality automatically, instantaneously neutralizes an energy, right? Yeah. And thus that's leading to you reconnect with yourself and remember whom it is that you are. The moment that you observe that pattern and you no longer live inside of it, but I'm seeing you observe a pattern and then almost step back and look at the ego, the identity from the observer point of view, and just hold space for that octave, that localized octave that does the best with the information that it has. Now, another really interesting thing that came through was the cities of light. So I'm seeing this as a part that you're playing. I'm hearing a smaller part that you're playing within the collective. Cities of light talks about telos adapma, inner earth, etheric retreats, inner earth communication, and new earth potential. Talks about meeting with Lemurian family and inner planes and receiving their love, light, wisdom for the new earth. When we feel overwhelmed with humanity's circumstances, inner earth beings show us the potential for a new paradigm. And that's exactly what it is that you're doing. You're tuning into your inner earth, what's going on within your own internal world, and you're becoming a safe haven, right? This talks about beings visiting in their light bodies, and I'm seeing that as you being a bioplasma being, and what you're doing is reminding your ancestral lineage of their plasma-like state, that they are not limited, restricted, or bound to their physical forms. They are the timeless consciousness that's temporarily experiencing itself through the form, through that identity, and through that avatar. And the moment that you remember that, I'm hearing a strange sense of a liberation that washes over you as you're seated within that remembrance of, oh, I branch and originate from far beyond this system. So that's super beautiful, right? This talks about beings of light that are showing you great potentials of your light for your personal life as well as humanity. They show you etheric pathways that lead to their cities of light where you can meet many members of your light family. Super beautiful. Right, then the second message that came through was Chamber of the Violet Flames, which talks about the dissolving of karmic contracts. And that is something that you're doing within the lineage, right? Karmic release is incarnating into a bloodline, seeing the effect of those conscious or unconscious choices, usually unconscious, that have led to a certain energetic frequency or signature within the lineage. But then you come in and you start creating a new cause within that system, thus changing the algorithm, like we said, right? And then what begins to shift is you're restoring the royalty within the lineage. You're a fractal of awareness that is conscious of itself and then becomes a fractal of Christ consciousness. And when I say that and I talk about royal lineage, all you're doing is clearing up any debris so that you can recover the golden opportunity within what seems to be a leaden circumstance. Chamber of Violet Light is you being a transduction system. So you're transforming a lower energy state into a higher energy state. When we connect with the violet flame, we're being given the opportunity to detach from lower vibrational experiences and turn darkness into light. And the way that I see that is that you are going through a refinement period. And as you begin to shed these belief systems and really alchemize those belief systems, you begin to ascend into a higher octave and thus bring forth your lineage. And I'm seeing that as you being the portal. This also talks about stratosphere and time here, which are the other cards that came through. So this is something that's happening throughout your space-time journeys. There's a different way that time moves through you as you remember yourself as a timeless being. Stratosphere talks about the protector, a shelter, and a guardian. And in this context, that's you being that for your bloodline. When you receive this card, there is a violet flame of transformation that's been brought to you by your angels and guides. They're encouraging you to see you're in a space of radical transformation and the Pluto energy, right? Transformation can be overwhelming, but know the hand of the divine is leading the way. All past trauma is now being cleared from your energy. Stay focused on releasing all of the energies that are no longer serving you. The violet flame is here to transmute fear into love. If any fear is rising up in you now, know that it's simply a call for love. So that is a call for love when it comes to your lineage, because you're creating a new point of reference. You're not doing things, I'm hearing you're not playing by the book of, oh, this is how we've done things and this is how we've had to do things in order to, stay safe. Instead, you're doing new things and you're actually bringing safety into the unknown. And what's interesting is we even have the unknown at the base here of our Magic of the Gathering energy. So this is something that you're making friends with. And you're actually showing yourself through physical experiences that, oh, the unknown can actually be not just safe, but also extremely inviting. This says, the violet flame is here to transmute fear into love. The strongest form of love that you know and allow those in your inner circle to support you. You're an alchemist with the capacity to take leaden aspects of your life and turn them into golden opportunities. So I'm hearing this is how you're being invited to show up for yourself again and again. You can align your life with the divine plan and live in a more purposeful way. So your purpose is something that's grounding you. This is one of your many purposes. This isn't just limited to, or it's not just limited to your lineage. This is also something that's happening within the plasma universe that you've incarnated into. This is something that's bleeding into your starseed lineages. You're also simultaneously pulling forth those that extend beyond this construct as you exist within many parallels. Let's take a look at the theme of you within the bloodline, and then we'll also take a look at an advice card for you. Ooh, the theme is the Ten of Pentacles. If this isn't like a lineage card, I don't know what is, right? The theme of the Ten of Pentacles is a legacy card. So part of your legacy is not, again, in just what it is that you create, but it's in whom it is that you become. And there's something in which you've become that your ancestors are learning. And it extends far beyond your ancestors. I don't want it to just be subject to that, but there's some kind of ripple effect that you're having as you're seated in whom it is that you've become. Okay, Ten of Pentacles is also a completion point. So there's some kind of cycle that you're closing out. I'll go ahead and read it. And then you also have the moon at the base with the bridge, which is literally becoming your higher self in physical form. And as you can see on the other side of the bridge, which is a bridge of vulnerability that actually ends up connecting you with, I'm hearing it actually bridges the gap between you and your highest expression, because it's not something outside of you, but it's something that you actively embody, right? And I'm seeing it as gamma perception, which is not just superhuman consciousness, but it's you being able to see life on Earth through a fifth dimensional lens. Okay, so the 10 of coins in this deck talks about fulfillment, dreams coming true. And it says the full moon beams in the night sky. And what's super beautiful is that I'm recording this on the night of a full moon. And you literally have the moon here at the base. So it beams in the night sky, illuminating the tree that has been overtaken by a jewel tower. Complete fusion between the rapidly growing tree and the tower has created a hybrid of beauty. The jewel tower supporting the colossal tree, and the tree offering shade from the harshness of the day. While we find ourselves back in the desert, we now have the foundation and determination to overcome adversity, knowing that hardships can be made easier by working together. Through the suit of trees, we witness mankind working to coexist with nature. And I'm seeing, super interesting, coexisting with your true nature, but then also being able to return to that by experiencing something otherwise, right? Being able to experience something that allows you to return back to your true nature through the contrast within this realm. Thus, like forgetting yourself in order to remember, operating in fear and not trusting yourself or your intuition into moving through this existence, cultivating a profound sense of inner trust, right? That contrast in which you've experienced. When it shows up, it's a sign of true joy that's sitting there ready for you to grab it. This can be a greater feeling than any material possessions could bring you. This is a time to rejoice and enjoy the simplicity of feeling fulfilled. So it's a wealth card, it's an abundance card, but this is so much more than just the material plane. This is you transforming your relationship with the material plane, with physical existence. Yeah. And being rooted. The tree is strong. The tree is anchored firmly into the ground, where it does not falter, it does not ask for permission to grow. Trees are very silent. They don't have to announce their growth. And they're not rushing that. And that is your true nature. It's not limited by the ego or the mind. Okay, you also have, how do I feel in my heart today? That's your message. How do I feel in my heart today? Your heart is guiding you in a way that the mind doesn't fully understand. I'm hearing your heart is guiding you home. And that's a return to yourself. No matter what is happening within your environment. And the environment being the earth. What's happening within the world inside of you. And that's bridging the gap. You can see the sun and the moon there. So even in the contrast outside of her, she's always home. And that's going to look very different. So I'm going to love any of you right there. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing because we'd love to have you around. Personal reading details are also down below. Also check out Unlisted if you're looking for some high quality AAA grade gemstones. You have two discount codes for that in the description box. And yeah, let me know how this lands for you. What do you feel your body has been telling you? What have you been sensing when it comes to the shifts? What is the main karmic contract that you're dissolving within your bloodline? Like, what pattern are you here interrupting? Is that lack of trusting thyself? Is it lack of expression? Is it survival programs? Is it be dissociating, right? And you're reconnecting with yourself in a way that you haven't seen be modeled to you within your generational lineage. I'd be very interested to see what that theme is for you. So until next time, bye.